Keeping it real with Kenny.
If someone's told you they've just been to a psychiatrist, what would be your reaction? What would you say? I know some of you would first of all move back, just in case. And I know some of you will be like, God forbid. None of my entire generation has ever been to a psychiatrist. What happened? How did you come about it? Blah, blah, blah. That stigma is what we're about to raise today. We're going to talk more about mental health and the options of how we can overcome that. Okay, by the way, compliments of the season. It's another festive period. We shall celebrate many more glorious years in good health and in sane mind, in the mighty name of Jesus. By the way, if you're joining us for the first time, this is Keeping It Real with Kenny Adeyemo. And if you don't know me, I am one of the pastors at the Sanctuary of the Holy Spirit here in the UK. Sanctuary of the Holy Spirit is a church dedicated to making its members and you people, lovely people out there, better off spiritually, financially, mentally, and physically. And that's why this podcast is all about making us all better off. So we're all in this together. Okay, so we're going to dig deep into today's topic. We're going to be talking more about mental health. Mental health. So we're going to be erasing that stigma and expatiate and break it down on what mental health is all about. Most of us go through it daily without even knowing. And that's why I've got this lovely guest speaker today to talk more about mental health. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful people out there, join me as I welcome Miss Uloma Ogudoro. You are welcome, my darling sister.
Thank you so much.
It's so lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you.
And thank
too.
you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Okay. Mrs. Uloma Ogudoro is a public health nurse. So she's an expert in all this. She's going to be talking more about our mental health. And okay, now let's go into a topic for today, Miss Uloma. Mental health.
Yeah.
How would we define mental health? I know with the stigma, like I said, the stigma is like, especially we Africans, Nigerians to be precise, they'll be like, psychiatrist? That's the Yaba left, stuff like that. Yeah. But unfortunately, we don't know that what we go through daily involves with our mental health. Yes. Is that correct?
You're very correct, yes. So the way the body works, it starts from the brain. And the brain is the center point of our whole being. And anything that affects it affects our whole body. A bit like when you talked about physical, financial, when all of that encompasses what can impact our mental health. It could be anything. Let's take stress, for example. Stress is a normal thing that happens to every one of us. It happens to you, it happens to me. We all get stressed. So many things make us stressed. For example, I'm a mother, you're a mother. Just basic school runs, that's stressful enough. Getting to work.
Well, that school runs you've just said. Oh my God.
Yes. Just waiting for the train or the bus and then it gets cancelled. That's stressful. You get to the office, there's work waiting for you. There's a deadline.
Your car not working.
That's stress. Your car's not working.
I've got appointment to make.
There's so many things that stresses us out on a daily basis. But the problem is, how do we then manage that stress? How do we cope with it?
Okay, so is that so that stress we're going through now is the mental health, is it?
Yes, that's what. So stress in itself, it's not a bad thing, okay? So there's good stress, there's bad stress. Okay. So every time that we're stressed, our body releases a hormone that's called adrenaline. Not just adrenaline, it also releases something called cortisol, right? And these hormones are really important because we need them. Say for example, you have an allergic reaction, your body will release some adrenaline, which is what we give to people when they've had like anaphylactic reaction, for example. But high doses of it in our body is where the problem lies, okay? So if you start getting stressed on a daily basis and you're not able to manage it, this is where the mental health part of it comes in. Because then you're feeling overwhelmed, your body goes into a fight mode.
So that means you've gotten high dose of that,
Yes.
which shouldn't be.
Which shouldn't be. Because your body doesn't know how to contain it, basically. So your brain is telling your body, I'm under attack, because that's the only way that I can explain it. You know, I'm really under attack. What can I do to protect myself? And it starts to release these hormones. And our body gets so overwheld that we can't cope with it.
So basically, Uloma, that means mental health, it entails the way you feel emotionally, the way you act, you know, what happens in your body, your brain. So that's all about mental health.
100%. So, like I said, these hormones will start to affect so many things that you do. It affects your behavior. So you get to work, you're stressed from the train or the transport, your car, and then you get to work, somebody says something to you, you know, say, oh, Kenny, you know, have you finished the report? And you're like, what do you expect from, you know, you lash out. Or like you come home and then your kids are like, Mom, what's for dinner? And you're thinking, I've just literally just finished work. You know, you're not having a downtime, you know, so all these things are boiling up and it's getting too much. And it continues over a long period of time. And then it starts leading to things like depression. It starts leading to things like anxiety. You're so panicky, you know, you're dropping things. Your body can't manage, you know, you start to break out. For like us women, we have other hormones going on in our body as well.
That's another topic for another day.
You know, you start breaking out, you start stressing, you know, you might not even have any appetite to eat. And these are all important because you have to eat, you have to rest, you're not sleeping properly. So there's also sleep deprivation, so many things that's going on in our body, and it all blows out of proportion. And yeah, this is where mental health comes in.
So when you talk about, you know, having mental health issues and say, for example, the depression and it's not being addressed and it keeps piling up, what happens then?
And now this is the thing, the important thing is being able to identify. Because a lot of us will say, I remember when I had my first child, you know, I had my mum here, I had my mother-in-law, you know, I didn't realize what postpartum depression was. I was just so overwhelmed. And culturally,
sorry to cut you short. You said you didn't realize what
was going on.
Okay.
Postpartum depression.
Okay.
So postpartum depression is the depression that you go into after you've had a baby.
Okay.
So a lot of women.
How were you feeling? Just for the people out there.
I was just feeling quite overwhelmed.
Okay.
So somebody might look at me and think, well, your mum's here, your mother-in-law is here. But culturally, there were expectations. So I'd say, for example, I had to cater to the baby. Obviously, you're breastfeeding. You're not just breastfeeding, you're sleep deprived as well. Because I'm the one waking up at night breastfeeding that baby.
Because the breastfeeding is not easy, because is it every 2 hours?
You have to.
Baby had to wake up.
Yeah, you have to eat. You have to stay hydrated. 90% of the time, we're not doing that, you know, because you have the soup that they give you.
Oh God, don't talk about that. Especially the pepper soup.
You eat the pepper soup and
you're not enjoying it.
You're not resting. You're literally not resting, you know, and don't forget you're still bleeding.
Oh,
you know, there's a lot of water, you're losing a lot. So there's a lot going on. You're in pain if you've had a cesarean section, even if you've had a normal delivery, you're in pain. You know, and every time that baby latches on to feed, you're contracting. You know, so there's too much going on.
I'm like,
and then we as women,
I could feel it as you're talking, even though it's been a while. But I was like, ooh.
Exactly. And then culturally, you're just expected to just get on with it. You know, mom, they'll say to you, oh, I had 8 children and I was all right. I
was able to cope.
But there was a community in Africa. We don't get that, you know? And then you're expected also, you're serving your mother-in-law, you're serving your father-in-law, you're serving your husband.
I thought mother-in-law and mothers are there to help you, not you serving them.
But
Well, it's the other way around,
it's
isn't it?
like it's the other way around, you know? Because even though they make you soup, they make you certain things, there's still certain things that you do. You do the chores, and then if you've had other children, you're still looking after them. You know, if your husband has to go to work, you need to do the school run. It's a lot, sister.
There's some stuff you have to do which your mother-in-law or your mom can't do. And it's still there.
You have to do the washing. The baby's pooing every 5 minutes.
Oh, God.
So it's a lot.
It never stops, does it?
And I remember going to the GP one time, and you know, this was like the 8 weeks check. And I remember the GP had said to me, "Oh, how are you feeling?" Because they do like an assessment just to check how your mental health is. For me, I feel like that's just a tick box exercise. But for me also, responding to those questions is like, I already knew what he was going to ask me, so I was giving him all the answers that he needed. So once we finished, the baby was fine, I was fine technically, and you walk away, and I remember just walking out of my GP and I just started crying. I was like, I just basically lied. You know, I just basically lied. But even if I'd said,
but you don't want to put anyone in trouble.
Yeah, what am I going to say really? Because I don't even know how I'm feeling.
Because you couldn't identify what the problem was.
Thank you. That's just what it was. I didn't know how to explain. And even if I did know, you would be criticized in a way like, what
exactly is the problem?
What's wrong with you?
Even if you tell someone, they'll be like, okay, tell me what the problem, but you can't figure out what exactly it was. You're just not okay. Within you. And it happens. Especially, we're just talking to people out there now. If you've just had a baby, or you know, if your wife just had a baby, or your child just have a baby, they need all the love and care, because their mind is going through a lot at that moment. You know, it's like they're just back from the land of the dead. Kind of, because childbirth, it's not an easy thing.
That's true.
You know, don't, because they're back home now, you think they are strong, and you now tell them to go to the market, you now tell them to go start cooking. You know,
I remember having to do that, because don't forget, people are visiting all the time, so you have to cook, you have to entertain them, you know, and in between those times you're still breastfeeding. You're still going.
Your body is going through a lot of changes.
It's just too much. The cortisol level was like that. The adrenaline level was like that. It's not just me. It's just you know, we don't realize, you know, and there's just so much that people are going through. And imagine having to go through that for a very, very long time. You haven't actually healed, and then before you know it, less than a year or two, you're pregnant again, and then there's another baby that you're looking after.
Oh my God.
So
you're right though, because you'll be like, okay, I don't want to leave too much gap within the children and all that.
Yeah.
When will it ever stop?
It doesn't. And this is why we're here. Like, it doesn't stop, but how do you identify
and how do you address
and
it?
seek help? Because you need help. And then also communication. Being able to communicate with your partner, your husband, your mom, your mother-in-law, whoever it is that's there, you know, how can they actually help you?
I've heard of a story of someone, though the parents were there, like you said, every night when everyone's gone to sleep, she cries herself to sleep. What is going on? She couldn't identify exactly what it is. But she's just not okay, just like what you said. And it's such a shame, because especially with women, there's so much stuff we've you know, bottled up in us, and we can't let it out. The fear of letting it out and it goes the wrong way to whoever you're relating it to, it's there as well. Because if you're relating it to your husband be like, well, so woman, she had a baby, but she wasn't like that. You're just being lazy. You just don't want to do anything, you know, and stuff like that. So the woman rather keeps it to herself rather than explaining what it is. What would you do in such situation?
I think, like I said, communication, because sometimes we put so much expectations on people, you know, and we're not getting back that expectation that we've given them or we expect from them, and we get frustrated. But if you do not communicate how you're feeling or what your need is, people are not really there to nobody's psychic, you know. But we need to start having these conversations, you know. I remember in those days, when I had my first pregnancy, I would go to the antenatal clinic, and there were barely any black men there.
Oh, wow.
Barely any black men, maybe one or two. The rest were white.
Any colored, yeah.
Yeah.
No?
No African. No African dads felt that it was important for them to be there.
So it's only the women.
Only the women were going by themselves. And these women were married. They're not single mothers. They were married.
None of the men came with
None
them.
of the men were there.
Wow.
And then that makes me worry, because then when I think back at that, I'm thinking all that information that I got, it would have been nice if he had been there as well. To listen.
And you could
and
work
then
together.
support me better. And there's so many other women in the same category, category of what I'm saying. And it's sad. And
You're
again,
right, you know. You're right.
it feels like it's just that expectation, because then sometimes they'll say to you, I'm an African man. What's wrong with an African man going to antenatal clinic? What's wrong? Why can't you go to...
It's the mentality.
It is.
How can I be going there with you? I shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
You go. When you get back, tell me what you... But it wouldn't be like hearing it from the horse's mouth.
How many times do you actually go and come back and tell them? Where do you start from?
you even just tell them maybe 20%, because you would have forgotten most of it, you know. Oh, God help us. Men, please support your wives. They're going through a lot. Women, the way women are wired, I think it is. We kind of like think of so many things at the same time. You know, when a woman goes to the market, she goes to buy carrot, but she realizes this is needed. She ends up buying the whole store.
That's true.
But when you send the man,
he calls like 10 times.
He buys, you tell him to buy carrot, he goes to the market, buy just that carrot and come back. Or on this way, when you say, okay, daddy, please, can you, while you're in the market, can you buy cabbage with it as well? You're like, oh, you're confusing me. Now, what do you want me to do?
That's true.
You know, that's the way they're wired, you know, and communication, like you said, goes a long way.
It does. It does.
Okay, so we're going to look if there are different type of mental health. Are there different type of mental health illness?
Yes. So there's.
Do we call it an illness, actually?
Well, it can be an illness when it's gone really beyond, you know. Yes, it can become an illness.
Before we go into that, Uloma, I'm thinking, you know, when, especially here when you're in diaspora, they say you will want to look after your mental health, or they want to assign a mental health person, a counsellor to you. We probably because of the stigma right from home, we'll be like, God forbid, that must not be in my data that, or in my history, that I've ever been to see a mental health counselor, you know. And we start thinking of so many things, you know, that they will think I'm mad, they will think I'm not mentally okay. That's what we think of, but it's not that, is it?
What I always say to a lot of Africans is like, you're okay with the diagnosis of malaria, you're okay with the diagnosis of typhoid. What's the difference when someone tells you you've got depression? What's the difference when someone tells you you've got anxiety? You know, that's just your body telling you, I need help. Basically. So if you've got malaria, you will go to the doctor, you get a shot or you get a medication. To the same thing is body and mind. Just think about it that way. If you're sick, you have to go to the hospital. If you've got a mental health condition, you have to go to a psychiatrist. You have to see a mental health support worker, or, you know, counseling. Sometimes it doesn't have to be that you're crazy. There's so many people walking around on the street with so many mental health issues. I mean, at that time, if I'd told you that there was something wrong with me, you wouldn't have known, because I'd come to church nicely dressed, I've got my kids, my baby, and I'm functioning well, right? But then I'll go home and I'll cry. You know, so it's not written on our foreheads, you know, and we don't need to carry it around like a price tag or something. You know, you just accept that this is what the situation at the moment, depending on, it could be anything. Anything could cause your mental health to struggle. It could be financial. It could be they're about to repossess your house. You might have had a divorce. You might be grieving. Some people lose their partner. Some people lose their children.
Parents,
you know, it could be work related. You just got, you know, let off from work. You've lost your job. Moving home is stressful. If you've ever moved home before, you know it's stressful.
I'm not hearing that.
You know, there's so many things. Your child could be struggling at school. You know, that in itself is stressful.
So these are all the triggers.
There's so many things that could trigger
to
it.
show you that you need mental help.
Yeah, so it could show you that it could be a temporal thing. It could be a long-term thing. Just like anybody. For example, I've got asthma, right? But you wouldn't know that if I didn't tell you, right? But I'm living with it. There's people out there with sickle cell. There's people out there with like even HIV, you know, but they live with it. You know, and they live a happy, good life, right? So why do we stigmatize mental health so much? You know, from a cultural perspective, I think we really need to have a mind shift, you know, from feeling or even judging other people, you
That's
know.
correct.
I've seen
That's
people,
right.
even especially women, and it's sad that it's women judging other women. Like they'll say, oh, why is she struggling? You know, she can't even, you know, why can't she feed her baby? Like, why is she not lactating? Why is she not, you know, managing with the other children?
People are going through.
She might have had something happen in her family, you know. She might be struggling with her marriage. There's so many things that can trigger people. So we need to be a bit more graceful and kind, because we don't know what people are dealing with on a daily basis.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so people out there, please do not judge, so that you shall not be judged. So the Bible says, don't judge people out there. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know the situation of everyone. And just like we said, the stigma, let's remove that. You know, just like when you're sick with typhoid or malaria or headache, you see a doctor. It's the same thing with a psychiatrist. When you have issues with your health, we are going through something. It could be depression, it could be anxiety, it could be anything, a loss of a loved one. You need a psychiatrist. But when you say in Nigeria or Africa, you need a psychiatrist, hey, God forbid, let's erase that. And that is what is, you know, affecting a lot of people. You know, we need to get ourselves educated. Don't let's be ignorant of all these things, please. And it will do us a lot of good. Okay, so coming back to mental health now, Miss Uloma, how do we heal from it? I know there are some signposts, you know, where we can.
So there are loads of resources out there. They've got people like Mind UK. There's also Young Mind for younger people. There's the Samaritans. They're really good and supportive. For mothers, there's so many like Men Cap as well for men. Specifically, we've just had Men's International Men's Day. International Men's Day, right? And again, men. There's a lot of mental health that they also don't talk about, and these are some of the things that we need to start bringing to the forefront. You know, like personally, I work with young people, and I see a lot of young people on a daily basis with suicidal thoughts, self-harming, overdose. You know, it's just it's scary.
It's sad.
It's scary, and we as the parents, what information are we passing down to these children? Are we able to keep that communication gap closed so that our kids can feel comfortable to come and talk to us? Because half the time when I speak to young people and they disclose things to me, or they open up to me and tell me things, and it worries me that this child doesn't even know me, and they feel so comfortable to tell me that, and they can't speak to their dad, they can't speak to their mom. about what they're struggling with. And it's sad. You know, we really need to, you know, I understand that their generation is really different from how we were brought up, but we cannot bring them up with the way that we were brought up. We're going into 2026. Come on. Some of our parents were born in 1970, 1960. You know, time has moved, you know, and this generation, they've got a different way of dealing with things. You know, we may have been able to, I don't want to even say manage, because we didn't really manage it well, because we were suppressing. We suppressed our needs, our feelings for such a long time. You know, I remember growing up, I'd hear things like, you know, being said to my brothers like, oh, man up, grow up, you know, don't cry.
That's it. I was going to say that. Men don't cry.
Men don't cry.
You have to man up.
Man up, and they keep manning up.
Are they not human beings?
They keep manning up for years and years and years and years and years, and then they go into a relationship.
Bottle a lot of things up.
They don't know how to manage it.
They don't know how to lash out or who to talk to 100%. Because they're a man. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, God have mercy.
Even women, they tell us that, oh, get on with it. My mom had 8 children. She didn't complain, you know.
No, men tell their wives nowadays. My mom, she coped.
Yeah.
She had 8 children.
8 children.
So why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know, but it's a different world entirely.
It is.
You know, like you said about a lot of children, they don't feel free with their parents.
They don't.
I struggled when I got to this country, especially those in diaspora. You know what I'm talking about. When your parents are talking to you, they tell you, you don't look at them eye to eye. You look down. If you look at them, they'll think you're rude.
You're disrespectful, yeah.
And it's very disrespectful. So when I got to this country, I struggled because I'm like, when they're talking, I look down and it's disrespectful. So I got confused.
Yes.
You know, you have to look at your employer straight in the eye. And I'm like, what kind of world are we living in? I'm confused. What's going on here? So we had to adjust, you see. And with that, we parents, we have to help our children with that. Don't bring your ancient. I
like that word, ancient.
Outdated, you know, old-fashioned lifestyle. It could help in a way, but it gets these children confused. Our children are more enlightened now.
Yeah, they are.
They know how to deal with what's going on, but don't let social media teach them.
Yes,
parents,
and
don't let social media teach your children for you or get advice out there. Try and be the best friend to your children. Let them feel comfortable coming to you. What do you think?
Yes, I mean, I always say to parents, you know, your child is not your best friend. Your child is not your friend. You're the parent. They're your child. However, you need to have a healthy relationship with that child, that they can feel that much comfortable to come and speak to you about whatever it is. I mean, I was reading something recently, and this guy was actually explaining about the child and parent relationship, and he said, a child's first bully is their parent.
It is true.
That really stuck with me. And I thought to myself, you know, like growing up in those days, they were like, oh, my dad, he's a disciplinarian. He's a this, he's a that. And then you fast forward to now, half of them don't even check up on their dad because you scared your kids so much, they don't want to be around you.
They can't even wait to get out of the house.
Yeah, you're begging them, bring my grandchildren, bring them. They're like,
nobody wants to come near you.
I don't want you to. No, I don't want you around my children.
They're even scared of you.
So they're scared.
You know, and on that note, talking about that, parents, if you're very wicked or harsh to your children, continue. The day would come when you would need them and you won't find them.
Yes.
Or you're very rude to your son-in-law or daughter-in-law. Don't forget, this strength you have, you won't have it forever.
That's true.
Am I lying?
Very true.
You won't have it forever. There will come a time when you're old and rugged. These children you've maltreated will be the one looking after you. You stay away from people, you don't want to talk to them, you keep grudges, continue. The Bible says, do not let your anger go to bed with you. Make sure you settle all disputes.
I always even say to parents, you know, the parents always tend to lean on the side of the Bible where it says, honor your father and mother so that your days will be long and all of that. And on the next line, it actually says, parents, do not provoke your children.
Parents don't want to read that one.
They don't want to read it.
They'll omit that one.
Don't provoke your children. Because if you provoke your child in the way that you speak to them, in the way that you behave, in the way that you want to discipline them, they don't want to be around you. They're not going to talk to you about the things they're doing.
It's so sad because we tend to read the Bible to sweeten us, but when it comes to where the cause and the but is,
Yes.
we quickly omit that. Stop there.
Yes.
But most of them don't read this. The only thing they will say, honor your father and mother. This breast is what you saw. Don't use that to blackmail them.
Yeah.
If I cause this, don't do that. The child will not even want to be around you because you'll be embarrassing them in the midst of their friends.
Very true.
So, how do we heal from mental health issues?
Right.
Stay away from stuff that would get you annoyed.
Yes. So there's so many ways that we can cope with it. Like I said, the first one was communication. Because we expect so much of people and they're not meeting that need, we get frustrated. That person's not going to know unless you tell them. That's one.
So that means they keep grudges, get unnecessary grudges.
Oh my God.
Because what you said is a big topic, honestly.
Yeah.
Because you're getting annoyed that somebody has offended you. Unknowingly
They
to the
don't know
person,
what
they
they've
don't
done.
even know
They
they've
don't.
offended you.
No.
Whereas you are keeping grudges against that person.
What does the Bible even say? Before you pray, you have to think about who you have a grudge with. Go to that person, resolve it because you're wasting your time praying.
And you
You're
tend
wasting
not
your
to,
time.
you say you're not forgiving that person. Meanwhile, the person
It's moving on.
has moved on actually. The Lord's Prayer says, forgive us as
our
we
trespasses, yes.
forgive those who trespass against. So there's a condition to
Yes.
it. If you don't forgive, the Lord will not forgive you. So may we not be stagnant. So it's a very, very important topic which we don't want to discuss, but it's happening.
Yes.
Any little thing, especially with women. Sorry, women, but it's happening. A lot of women, she didn't look at me very well. She stepped on my toes. The way she looked at me, it's so bad. Men, they don't look at all these things.
just
They
go
are
over.
easy going.
Yes.
And some men behave like women though.
I know.
So we have to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can go on now. I
Yeah.
just wanted to buttress
Yes,
that
no,
bit.
that's definitely facts. Yeah. And also, if you've reached a point where you feel like you're so overwhelmed and you really need that help, sister, brother, please seek that help. I personally had counseling for nearly a year after I got divorced. And
sorry to
that
hear that.
really, it's okay.
But you look well.
Thank you. People don't realize how much that can, because like you said, we're bottling up so much. And what that counseling just basically does, you unpack all those feelings. Because where are you keeping them? You're just holding them inside, and that's eating you up. You've got your kids, you've got your children, you've got your previous partner's family that you were, all these ties you've cut, and it spirals down to the kids, it spirals down to so many people. You lose a lot of
all
friendship.
these problems don't stop. They just keep coming.
It never stops. And it's like you're getting stressed, you're getting depressed, you're going it's just not getting resolved. So you really need to sit and talk about these things. You really need to sit down and review and even identifying where did I go wrong, because 90% of the time it takes two, right? It's not just one person. So where did I go wrong? Where can I change? Where can I improve myself? Because nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
I can't sit here and say that I'm perfect.
Yeah.
Nobody is perfect, and how do we then move on from that? Because don't forget, you've got children with this person. How are you going to co-parent? We need to step forward, move forward from that. The kids are also picking up on all these bad energy, all these negativity, and it needs to stop, really needs to stop. So thinking about stuff like that is why we need to go for counseling.
Wow.
You know,
Because that alone is a topic on its own.
100%.
Because a lot of people out there are going through a lot. And when you talked about discuss it, talk to someone, make sure you're talking to the right person.
Yes.
A counselor, maybe your spiritual leader, someone you know that you could talk to them in confidence and they will not let out or use it against
and
you.
is not biased. Somebody that is not biased.
That's it.
You know, sometimes I could go and talk to somebody that's my family. They're on my side. Don't forget.
That's the thing.
That other person can go and talk to their family and they're on their side. You know, so we need to speak to someone that's neutral. That doesn't know either of us. And when you pour out how you're feeling and that person helps you to unpack all those. That's why when you go to the hospital, I used an example of being, you know, when you're unwell, you've got malaria, you've got... When you get to the hospital, what is the first thing that the doctor does? They check your blood, they do your urine, they have to do so many tests to find out what the problem is, and then they'll give you a diagnosis. It's exactly the same with mental health. We need to pour out all of those things, go through all those assessments for us to resolve what the problem is.
Oh wow, that's powerful. And I think what actually aggravates it is some people talk to the wrong set of people.
Yes.
And it makes it worse.
Yes.
You know.
And reliving the pain, whatever it is that caused that problem, we keep talking about it, you know, keep talking about it and all that. I mean, even like a loss of a job, for example, you know, you lose your job or you get let off from work, you know, and you're so angry, you're frustrated, and you're like, you know, I didn't deserve that or whatever. You're just reliving the pain. I just always say to myself, reflect, just reflect, you know. We're not that as perfect as we always feel that we are. You know, how can I make changes? What did I do that wasn't correct? Or what can I improve? You may not have done everything, but what can I learn from the experience? And sometimes, guess what? God actually has a better plan for you.
Yeah.
God has a better plan for you.
A lot of all these billionaires, millionaires, you know, if there's no problem, there won't be a success.
Yeah.
Probably they were laid off at work and they decided to start their own business.
Yes.
And they didn't give up.
Yeah.
They were with the right channel, the right set of people when that happened. And that was how they were able to forge forward.
Yeah.
But if you are in the wrong set of group, they could go through the wrong way, you know.
Yeah. And that's interesting as well. You know, obviously there's a healthy way of dealing with stress, and then there's an unhealthy way. And we're not here to judge anybody, but there are people out there that lean on like things like start taking drugs or even start drinking, you know, start being a bit more promiscuous, or just start getting into habits that are not helpful, like smoking, vaping, all those sorts of things. And I know, you know, I totally understand some of these things kind of helps relieve the pain, but it's just temporary, right? And we have to look at the long term. And then don't forget, some of these habits can also impact on your health even more, because you don't want to solve one problem with another problem.
Exactly.
So, you know, it's just being able to reach out for help. That's really, really important. There's nothing shameful about it. I hold my hand up and I told you, I reached out for help, even as a health professional, because we're human.
You're human.
I'm not a robot.
Definitely.
So
definitely.
it's important to reach out to people that are supportive, find a community. Fitness and well-being. I know that's another topic.
Another topic for the day.
Fitness and well-being saved my life, I'm telling you. Because when you start exercising, when you start looking after your well-being, you know those hormones that I told you about initially, it changes it.
Okay.
So you start producing endorphins, you start producing dopamine, you start producing serotonin. And these hormones, you get them for free. You don't need to pop a pill to get them, and then it fades off after a few hours. This you just get naturally for free, just by exercising. And it's amazing.
Okay. You know, you talked about, you know, when you are down, some people take to drinking, smoking, which is true, because I watch that a lot in movies and films. What is the best way to avoid that? I know they say they drink their sorrow away so that they don't remember what's happened to them, but it's still there.
Yeah, because the drink fades away, and then you have to top it up.
Exactly. You know, it fades away, and you know, medically, it's not healthy.
It's not. And I mean, you kind of alluded to it when you said something about like from the biblical point of it. I always say to people, you know, love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? We need to love ourselves. If I don't love myself, I can't love you, right? I can't love the next person. I can't love my children. So how do I love myself? By prioritizing my physical health and my mental health, right? So like I said, exercise is an amazing way. Healthy eating is an amazing way. Surrounding yourself with positive-minded
people.
Positive-minded people, because there's nothing worse as putting yourself around people that just only talk about what you don't want to talk about anyway. You know, I've just had a divorce and we're talking about divorce all day. What's that?
That's not what you want.
What's that going to do for me?
It's done already.
What's that going to do for me, right? Surround yourself with a positive community, right? Learn. Try something new. I started a course, you know, I did something, because if you shift your mind from the negative and redirect it, you're the only person that can control you.
That's it.
You are the only person that can control it. Because drinking, it fades away. Smoking, every time you're smoking, how many smokes are you going to have in a day?
Because nobody knows you. You know yourself.
100%. So community, fitness and health, eating healthily. As once you start feeding your body with the positive things, physically, mentally, and all of this, even like learning a new skill, going back to uni to do a course, financially, you're gone up there. Going up, You're doing so many things that are positive. I'm telling you, sis, it takes away all the negative. Right?
That's true.
Light and dark cannot dwell together.
That's it. That's it. That's it. People out there, you've heard it all. Sister Uloma has been here. She's discussed a lot about, she's used herself as a typical example. Please, let's learn from that. We're going to be talking more about mental health on the second episode. So we're still going to have Uloma here for the next episode. So we're going to be talking more about mental health and other issues as well. So if you've got any issues, any questions, any stuff you want us to discuss, please email me or send me a WhatsApp message on the numbers and the email address on the screen, and we would look into that. Like I said, if you're talented or you're a specialist in anything, just like Uloma has done today, we would appreciate if you get in touch with us so that we could share our expertise, our talents with the world out there and make this life a better place to live in. Remember, we are each other's keeper. So let's please help people out there. The people that are so they're novice, they don't know nothing about all these things we're talking about. And that's why we're here to impact lives out there, you know, heal people, heal a lot of wounds. People are hurting out there. People are dealing with so many stuff out there. Please, please, and please, let us share this video podcast. Let us, you know, send it to friends and loved ones, and let us make this world a better place to live in. Okay? So thank you so much, Miss Uloma, for coming over.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate it. And people out there really appreciate you coming. And hope to see you on the next episode.
Thank you. Thank you.
God bless you so well.
You too.
And lovers out there, thank you for staying to the very end. God bless you, and we'll see you in the next episode. Compliments of the season. See you till then. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.